I'm having that's what happened. My volume went down when I put it in here. There we go. I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm just having the funniest time trying to sort this out. This used to be so easy. What's happened? Oh my goodness. Maybe I'm just going to sit like this all day. I'm so sorry, JD. We're talking about freedom today. And I'm free to make an absolute mess of this. I just jumped JD out. I didn't mean to. There we go. I think that's... No, it's not working. All right, I'm just going to hold my screen because my little doobie flacket's not working. Hi, JD, darling. I see you there. I'm so sorry. Freedom. There we go. Hopefully this is going to work. And I'm just going to get... Good glorious afternoon and morning to you.
Good morning, darling.
My whole volume thing got turned down by putting it in the doobie flacket, because we all know what a doobie flacket is. And then the doobie flacket is just having spaz attacks and keeps popping my phone out. So I'm going to strengthen my arms today and hold it up the whole time.
Oh,
there we go.
That's what I did last week.
Yeah. Do you have more muscles in your arm now? Is that what's going to happen? I'm going to get muscly arms.
Fuck yeah. Look at me.
It's so gorgeous to see your face. This is my happy
You
face.
too. I love you in the morning. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Phat Chats.
Phat Chats. When was it on Friday? I said, we're going to have a skinny chat because it's just me, because JD's not here. So when I do my solo live, it's just me, which is skinny. And then we have big, fat, juicy chats when it's the two of us.
Love that.
Isn't it?
We're all about the booty. We're all about the voluptuous chats in all the flavors.
In all the flavors. Oh, and today what are we talking about? Freedom.
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 Freedom. Yeah, I love this subject.
Ways, isn't it?
I am such a dude when it comes to freedom in relationships.
Your masculine is on fire and really wants to take the show.
It's at the core of my value system in relationships. But that's because I have Venus in Aries, and she's a bit of a dude. She's the warrior in leather who's like, you can't fucking tell me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that. Like my masculine in that way is with travel and systems and life. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm free to travel. I'm free. I'm not going to be caged this way. So rebel failure, my first counselor called it. A rebel failure. It's my masculine.
That's not what you want to hear.
It did save my life.
But anyway, we don't always want to hear what we need to hear. So who else is a freedom advocate? Who else is watching this and is like, all I want is freedom in my relationships? I mean, it's pretty timely. Sure, we're kind of facing a bit of a crossroads for humanity right now, where our yearning for freedom is being pushed.
Yeah, I was having some big conversations yesterday. That's really, really hits home at the moment for everyone. But yeah, having some big conversations with my son and what all this means for his life. So
yeah, wow. Because the young ones, you know, like it's big for all of us, but the next generation. And free will is actually a universal law. It's a part of the fabric of consciousness. And when we look at relationship dynamics, most masculine aspects really yearn and crave for freedom. So it's David Dieter's work, isn't it, where he talks about the masculine craving freedom.
Yeah.
And this is speaking, we're talking about the masculine in all beings today. It's not just male-bodied humans, or male-identified humans. It's the masculine within all of us, because essentially, you know, to find true balance and harmony within, we need to totally embrace that we're both. And what does David talk about the feminine seeking? Resolution. To be seen and to shimmer.
Yeah, to be cherished. So the feminine is to be loved. I mean, the masculine is looking for freedom. He needs freedom in the world. And the feminine needs to be loved. And so when we're chasing resolution, when it's like, I need to resolve this so I get back to a place of love. So if we're looking at two tracks on the train, like the two train tracks, like the masculine's going for freedom. And what I love, and which we'll bring into this, is like for the masculine to have freedom in relationship is to free the feminine's heart. How to do that? How to free the feminine's heart. So when her heart is free, he's free. And for the feminine is like how to bring more love, bringing more love to the situation no matter what. And the reason JD and I are stepping in so deeply today about this, like we touched on it last week, and JD's been going through incredible leaps and bounds in her relationship with herself and her man. And I've been doing the same with my son. And the acts of freedom that we've taken. Mine being I resigned. I became free and I resigned. And I got so much freedom and more love, and how to bring more love to the situation. So have a whole new thing. I'm going to start a whole movement for parents. How to support your children. Resign. There's a lot more to it than that. But yeah, I should do a whole masterclass. The best thing you can do as a mother to a teenager, resign. But bringing more.
Well, we're resigning from our constructs, aren't we?
From the constructs,
because it's like this construct of what your little brain was telling you motherhood looks like, that just does not fit your model of the world, and it doesn't fit you as an individual that needs freedom to fly.
Yeah. Freedom to express, freedom to be, to dance. And it's so, you know, what's so interesting, what I love about, what I so love about when you and I get together and talk, is we do this work, and where we find in each other and we point out to it and we pull out from each other, we're doing that thing again. Well, not again, it's like, here's another layer. And I think this is one thing that...
It's totally again, babe.
It's totally
I'm constantly falling on my face. I'm like a squirrel, or like Dory the fish. Go around in the fishbowl and go, oh my God, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. Melissa, I think this is new, but is it? No, darling. No, honey, you became aware of this back in 2011. It's all right, I got
you. Just another layer. Yeah,
it feels new.
And I want to share with all of you gorgeous people listening, like a while ago, and JD actually brought this up last week. I'm pretty sure he brought it up, where JD's like, why don't you just let all the food and that go? Just let Alunde look after himself. I'm like, can't do that. I'm a mom. Like, and I really got to look at that construct. It's like, if I don't feed him, if I'm not taking care of his health, and it's fucking micromanaging, which most parents do. They're helicopter. So I'm not a helicopter mum. It's like I was a micromanaging neurotic person there for a while. Listen to your guinea fowl.
It's actually a crow.
Oh. Bit of crow medicine.
Yeah. He's a trickster, a bit of a trickster.
Oh yeah. So yeah, JD suggested all of that before, and you know, it took a few layers for me to go, oh, so where is my, and this is what we're going to be, where we're going to keep diving into for us, for the feminine. It's like, where is our place if we don't feel like we're doing the things that we need to do in relationship? So we don't have a place. Who am I then to receive? Like, what is my role here?
Yes.
How can I bring more love to the place if
Oh
I'm
my
not
God,
doing those things? Sorry,
you just opened so many pockets in my brain. Thank you. What I love about you.
Said that. It's like, this is why I design. I mean, I've always been so sexual and sensual, but I used to design. I had my boys' label of clothing, and so just when you said that, I just like I always did press studs on shirts so that they could be open quickly. Number one, because if your kid said yes to a bath, you've got a 3-second window to get them in the bath. Because if you wait too long, they're like, I'm not having a bath anymore. So I'm like, press stud pocket. So just when you said open windows, it's
oh my God,
a man's shirt.
Press studs, all about it.
Anyway,
that reminds me of those 80s onesies where you're like, can quickly just rip the press studs open and hello.
All of me.
Hello, yoni birth.
It's like a yoni, isn't it?
Anyway, now I've got way more pockets open.
Whoa. Okay, we need to give them numbers. And let's just...
We are talking about freedom.
That's right. That's right. I'm
free the pocket.
All over the place. Free the pocket. Free the pocket. I actually say that. I say that in my house. All of you glorious, you know, men that live with women, and like you think that we've got so much on in our heads, and I share that with the Lunde around. I said, honey, I just need this window closed. Could you please just do that? Because when I've got loads of windows open, more and more open, because the other window's open, and it's really full and busy in my head right now. I said, can you just do that one thing so I can close that window? Okay, thank you. I'm now freer. You freed my heart. I'm now free.
And what that will provide for me is freedom.
What that provide, and also you're free from my nagging voice. You will get freedom if you.
It's a win-win.
Yes. Just take your drugs, buddy. Not drugs, they're herbs. But take your herbs that you've asked me to place out on the table. They're all there, but they're screaming at me because they're still on the table.
Oh my God, that's a whole other subject that I would love to chat about. It's something that came up in our relationship this week. So, but what I really wanted to come back to is the whole subject of control and where it's misunderstood, because often we can feel, and I notice it in myself, like we have to get this thing sorted to feel peaceful. And when we talk about the feminine needing to feel connection, often we feel connection through everything being pretty and ordered. So for a dude brain, regardless of gender, for a dude brain, you might be thinking, oh, leave that on the table because then I'll remember it and then I'm free to go about my day. That's just going to be there staring me in the face. The feminine finds freedom through order. So, like, not all feminine, but a lot of humans find freedom through order. And it actually is a yogic principle. It's one of the niyamas and the yamas. So having clarity, and anyone that lives with a witch knows that her home is her temple. And so having this place where for the feminine to feel free, we need to feel that the energy is flowing and it's moving. And especially for really sensitive humans. But the catch-22 here is actually that it's an illusion that we're going to feel peaceful when the controlled outcomes happened. And especially for the overgivers of the world, hello. I'm still in the 10-year unravel since radically waking up inside of the dream that I so perfectly wound around myself. But anyway, so this whole awareness around controlled outcomes and feeling that if that doesn't get done now, it's just going to give me something else that I have to do later. Right? Mm-hmm. So if I let go of his eating agenda, I'm going to be dealing with an even sicker human. If I leave this person up to their own devices, it's up to me to pick them up off the floor. So, you know, the first thing we do is we honor this collective voice that is in most of our heads that takes too much responsibility for everyone around us. Mm. And then overgives in that moment, because the truth is that we can sit down on the floor next to the person and help them get up without it actually being all of our energy and our resources being used to do it. And this is where the reframe happens, and it's so exciting because we get to come out of these preconceived ideas that we have to micromanage each other because it's up to us to fix someone else's mess, and it's not. That's God's job. Goddess's job, like the universe's job. There's fucking professionals left, right, and center. If we give ourselves permission to just hand stuff over and stop playing God and Goddess and to trust each other's soul, because it's the divine, it's the feminine aspect that finds itself through chaos, right? So that's the witness doesn't control the outcome. The witness just allows the chaos to happen because it knows that it finds resolution through the chaotic movement. And if you just sit and witness your emotions, because essentially this is like the fear of things being out of control, right? But that's freedom. That's where the paradox comes from. Like, for any of us fiends of the world that love to party and love to get off our faces in different ways, that love journeying and love doing all these things, you know, I've been a major party girl in my life, and I'm not going to pretend that because I'm some level of woke that I don't love it, because I do. I really enjoy being out of the control of the mind.
Which is true feminine energy. Addiction's feminine energy. All of that, like, you know, emotion is feminine energy. When, like, I love sharing this with my male clients. Like, when you're angry, you're in feminine energy, yeah?
Yeah.
This is you're in it, like, roll into it, lean into it, like, open into it, allowing the chaos of emotion to be present. And the masculine container is doing the exercises, shaking, like, you know, screaming into a pillow. That's like taking responsibility, but allow yourself to be in feminine energies.
Yeah, and witnessing without controlling the outcome. Because it's when the need to control comes from feeling uncomfortable with the feeling that's coming up and taking responsibility for each other's shit. And that's not sovereignty.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowed to have whatever emotions you're having, Melissa. Why is it? It's my lack of personal boundaries if I make that about me. Mm-hmm. If you're having a feeling and I need to problem solve you and start trying to fix and solve and resolve it for you, I'm actually not trusting myself with how I feel about your feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in doing that, I'm taking away that need for freedom.
Mm. Can we drop it? I've just had a thing of like giving an example in each other's lives where this has worked really well just recently.
Yeah. Yep. You first, love.
I get to go first? I picked
Yes.
a long story. Short story.
Because you're looking so damn sexy today, you little mix.
Honey, you know, like I just walk around the house in my nightwear.
Is that a nightie?
Oh, God, yeah.
Stop it.
This is a nightie. This is a nightie, honey. I wear them all day. It's, you know. And if I've got somewhere to go, I just put a pair of boots on and a bra on underneath, and out I go and get coffee.
Yeah.
It's my thing.
So I love it.
Like, yes. So where this worked really well recently.
You're so South Australian right now. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, darling.
Hey, do you know what COVID has done for South Australia? Because Australia's got so fucking expensive to live in, apparently all these people are moving to South Australia is about to have its moment for the first time in 200 years, for 200 years. Because you never meet anyone moving to South Australia until now. Because it's the only
Oh my God,
place that anyone
Adelaide,
can afford
the
to go
Adelaide
around.
Hills are the in thing, darling. It's a whole movement of its own.
Oh, one that I'd missed out on. Whoops. No, you just never. I was laughing with a guy the other day, an Australian guy here. Like he's saying, oh, all his friends are like moving, like talking about this place. I said, that's in South Australia. And he goes, yeah. I went, no one moves to South Australia. Everyone leaves.
Mate,
He's
they
like,
don't call it
"Not now."
Radelaide for nothing. They put the rad in Adelaide.
How have I missed all of this? Anyway.
You've been in South America for 10 years, babes.
Yes.
A lot has happened in the home.
A lot's happened since Adelaide.
There's not just sheep farmers anymore.
Ooh.
The random spindle just rolling through. Hi, I've been waiting for you to come. Finally got someone to talk to. How's it going?
I'm lost. I'm trying to get out of here. Can you point me across the border?
In case you don't know what a spindle is, it's a giant thing that comes from a plant.
It's some
kind of
dry.
Rolling seed thing. And they just show up randomly as you're in the middle of the desert. Quite often when you're in when you live in the bush and you don't have anyone to talk to except for ants and kookaburras and the occasional sheep. Well, when a spindle shows up, it's like that moment on the beach with old mate with the soccer ball, Tom Hanks. What was that show? Wilson! Hi, Wilson! And you become friends with the spindle. And you're like, hey, I love your hairdo. You're so pretty. Anyway, if you want to know why Melissa is so fabulous, it's because that's how she grew up. With spindles.
Spindles and emus. You know, I just
Create your reality with the emus.
with the emu. Because my dad used to, like, emus are like ostrich. It's the Australian version of an ostrich, and they lay big fuck off eggs, like big fucking dinosaur eggs, and they're black.
They are scary as fuck. They're so aggressive.
Emus will peck your whole face off. Like, they'll just take like the crows in Australia. Everyone's worried about snakes, yeah. I'm like, snakes and spiders are scared of us.
Birds, man.
It's the birds. Crows don't give a shit what size you are. Magpies will fucking dig holes in your head. And emus are going to take your face off. The snakes slither off at any sound, any vibration.
And
the spiders
they let you know that they're there.
I know, they let you know. I don't know anyone.
Not the spiders I've been seeing.
I do not know anyone that's been bitten by a snake, but I tell you what, my whole family's had their brains pecked out and their eyes, everything from birds. Like, birds in Australia are fucking gnarly.
So did you get chased by emus down the fucking goat track?
Yes. But there was one time because my dad would take the eggs because he would carve them. Like, this is already traumatic now, but so he would steal emu eggs and we had to blow them. No wonder I'm the cockologist. I was blowing big fucking emu eggs. Now I know, because how do you get to, no wonder I got to the work I'm
Where did you get your blowy skills, love? Oh, got them from my dad.
My dad makes me blowing emu eggs. Oh my God, I'm sweating so much. So yes, I really
Getting hot in here. So take off all your nighties. I am getting so hot, I'm gonna take my nightie off. Anyway, what were we talking about?
the emu and my
Freedom.
my freedom.
Freedom.
So I'm stuck in this Land Rover, which is like a four-wheel drive, and my dad had cut the roof off. So we're stuck in the Land Rover because my dad.
Your
had
dad's
the
so
emu in it.
rad.
My dad's so much fun, so much fucking fun. So
Is that so he could use the shotgun out the window? Pow pow.
Oh yeah. Oh, God, let's just have a
I mean the
chat.
non-existing window.
The non-existing window with the wooden thing that you'd stick the gun in. But he didn't, so he'd taken these 2 eggs so that he could go home and I could blow them for him and he would carve them. And so the emu was so pissed off that it was racing around the Land Rover. It was just going around.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I remember things scared shitless.
Oh, that would have been so scary.
Take my face off. I'm gonna look.
Because they're a bit like kangaroos. They do the whole fist pump, like the leg,
the legs kick out.
the ninja leg kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived out in the
Full
desert
kickboxing.
Oh yeah, you don't you snakes and spiders. It is the kangaroos and emus, the birds. I mean, everyone's got Australia upside down. They think all of these nice Australian animals.
And the koalas. They're aggressive. And they try to have sex with people. My girlfriend was like hanging out in the bushes one day. She's having a lovely meditation after a festival. And this koala,
that's a very nice way of putting it, darling,
started making mating noises and like started fully stalking her down, and she was like, oh my God, the koala wants to have sex with me. She got really scared. She's like, what the fuck? Why is
they're not
koala?
soft. They're not soft. Their hair's all
And they've got
wiry, and they're
really intense, massive claws.
Oh,
So Chef Gula's got some awesome questions. I'm so glad you're here again. There were supposed to be examples of never having to do other people's self-improvement work for them, letting God or Goddess help them before the wonderful contagious laughter.
Oh, honey, we'll get this. See, now you're in the lab.
Thank you for providing a container for our chaos.
Thank you. Yes.
Let's come back to the subject.
Come back to the example.
Okay, what are we talking about?
So I was about to give an example of freedom and freedom to come back. So giving them the masculine freedom. So the example that I have in my life was my son and I reaching point. So when I resigned as a mother, the freedom, like handing over freedom, like I'm here, love him dearly, this house is his support, providing this container of absolute support, but he's free to choose it when he's ready. Yeah. When he needs it, when he wants it, he's free. So he's free to do whatever he wants. This is another thing. He's free to do whatever he wants. The rules of the house are these, and he's free to choose to follow them or not. If he doesn't follow them, my boundary is this. Yeah, everything else. So he went, we went through a week or so of him freely choosing. He just ate red meat 3 to 4 times a day. And, just watched YouTube and watched Netflix all the time. And freely chose to do all of that. So then when he was in the result of him choosing those things freely, he was dealing with the result of what that causes. And I, as the, as his friend, not the mothering person, as his mum, who's a dear friend, just got to really witness that. And my boundary was in that is like, the door needed to be closed if he's on YouTube all the time. I don't want to listen to it. That was just my boundary. The boundaries in the house. And then how he's freely chosen to come to me to ask for things. And for myself as the feminine, my gift as a feminine is just to bring love to everyone. So I loved him dearly through it all, loved him wholeheartedly, loved myself wholeheartedly. And now he's freely asking, like again today, like yesterday and today, he asked for smoothies. He's asked if he can join in on the meals that I make. Can he have some of that? Oh, JD, it's fucking phenomenal.
And
on a Sunday,
that's incredible, because that then is feeding your core value of connection, which is why it's been so hard for you, because you've been craving that connection. And food, like for most women who are really nurturing, depending on where your Vesta and your Ceres are in your astrology chart, depending, because everyone's different. But a lot of women with these people with placements around nurturing, we need to nurture through food and connecting around nutrition and nourishment and nurture.
Can I speak to freedom and connection? That is such a huge, this connection. Yeah. So yes, I need to connect, like we live in the house together. He's my son, all of this stuff, like the whole thing of like, it's been him and I for 15 years. So connection is really important. And of course, when we're trying to force the connection, some days our day, we were just fighting all the time. So now that we're free to choose, and this is the masculine in me, I had given up my masculine, which is acknowledgement for myself, emotional safety for myself, excitement for myself, because I was doing a lot of obligation. Got to keep my Sundays free because that's our day. And then we get there, both of us are depleted on our Sundays. So so I've been, we're both free to make our own plans. We check in if we need anything. Yesterday, Saturday night, he comes to me and says, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I want to hang out with you. I'm like, I would love to hang out too. What do you want to do? And I said, well, I don't want to do this and this and this because I've been doing that all week. So why don't you come up with a plan? Went out for ice cream, he took me to the James Bond movie, and he asked me to show him how to make sushi. Show me how to make sushi. So we had this full day because he's free to connect when we're both, so he freed my heart. This is what I want to speak to, the aspect of freeing, and John Wineland and David Data talk about this so strongly. To free a woman's heart gives freedom to the masculine. So when you're in a household, like there is so much more love in my house now. I don't know how we get to have more love every year, but it seems impossible, but there's more love. So he knows what to do to cherish me. He tells me how beautiful I am. He tells me how much he loves me. He writes me messages telling me stuff, which some of them I've shared with you, JD. Like I've just been in tears. So he tells me how my cooking, how it make, how he appreciates it. He tells me how he appreciates the house. Like he frees my heart by showing me the love that works for me. That's freeing my heart. And it is, so he's free. So then when, it's this, my heart is freed and he has freedom as the masculine being in the household. But he's gaining that freedom for himself by freeing the feminine's heart. So if we go, say, this is the same in a relationship. You go 3-4 days without even acknowledging your woman, without cherishing her, loving her, bringing her heart, providing, not solutions, but providing the way to free her heart, then she's in that space of needing, there's no love, there's no love, there's no connection, there's no connection. So now you're not free to walk out the door because her heart's not freed. There's a lot of nuances here. And I'm in a big bubble at the moment, so I don't think I'm explaining myself very well, and I apologize.
You really are.
Oh, good. Thank you. So that's how the masculine gains freedom, by freeing the feminine's heart. And John Wineland gives such an incredible example of this. Your woman's, and I share this with all of my clients, You come home, your woman's like, and this is the 3 stages of freedom. You come home, your woman's like stressed, blah, 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 blah. Like she's stressed, she's like, you know, you walk in the door and you go, oh my God, you can sense it. The first stage, the teenage stage, is fuck this. This always happens. I'm not fucking afraid. And so you leave. So you've got momentary freedom. You've left the house. You don't want to be in this energy. So you've left the house. You've got momentary freedom because you've got to come back to the house. And now she's also witnessed, now she's just witnessed her man leave. And so now that's another layer on top of whatever else she's going through. Second stage freedom, which we're in at the moment, which is very emasculating. And I'm sure I'm going to push some buttons here, and that's great. Let's keep on having conversations about this. But the aspect of the man coming and going, hey, honey, do you want to talk about it? And you sit down for fucking 3 hours later, you're still talking, you're still trying to find blah, blah, blah. No one's free. No one's free. You're in a soup of feminine energy, 2 feminine energies that are talk, talk, talk. I'm not talking that you don't talk about things. I'm talking about this moment. The third stage of freedom is you free her heart. As the masculine being, you're bigger and stronger, and this is polarizing energy. You walk in the door, she's like got all of this stuff going on, and she's either crying or she's pissed off, she's slamming things because we're chaotic. When you free a woman's heart, you go out and say, come here, babe. And you just hold her tightly, because this is the container, tightly. And she may resist. It's like, just breathe with me, 5 minutes, breathe with me, stay here. I've got you. I've got you. So, I've got you. She will fucking not soften. Once her shell has cracked, the cortisol drops, because there's all of this hormone stuff happening. We can get all sciencey about it. What's happening with polarized, you know, positive and negative neurons, all of this stuff is that her cortisol drops. It takes 5-7 minutes. You're not providing a solution. You're not talking about it. You're not trying to fix it. All you're doing is freeing, and she'll drop. Do you want me to run your bath? Or, hey, I've got to get back. Why don't I cook dinner tonight? You just go and have a bath, or what do you need right now? Whatever comes after that is short, easy, whatever, but you're not trying to fix her problem. You've freed her heart. Now, once her heart is freed and she's dropped, you're free. You're free. There's peace and there's joy and there's a pathway to a solution if one needs. But once her heart is free, the masculine is free, because it's certainly not free in the first 2 options.
Absolutely. So well described. And from my own experience, I can reflect back and say that when I feel like I've been witnessed for who I am, in my shadows and my light, in all of the messiness, when I've been able to just go, you know what, I'm really, really annoyed at this, blah, 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 for the following reasons. And he just stands there and loves me without telling me that he doesn't want me to feel what I'm feeling, or starting to problem solve and, you know, all the things that take me out of my emotion, because I'm just having an emotion and I'm needing to just be witnessed and seen in it. As soon as I feel that connection, my man has so much freedom, because I find my reactive behavior that is when he's telling me that I need to have a different experience than what I'm experiencing, and I don't feel that that presence is there, then I start to become more needy on his time, because what I'm actually looking for is that window of 4 to 5 minutes, 7 minutes of I see you, I love you, even when you're messy as fuck, I've got you, and I'm not going anywhere. And that is so challenging for our preconditioned brain, because it's it is natural for the masculine dominant thinker to problem solve, help, solve problems, to help, and to provide solutions, which are all the same thing. The thing is, when we see emotion not as a problem to solve, when we see it for what it is, in that emotion is just energy in motion. And a lot of the time, our person has come up with some wild and random story connected to what our actions mean. Right? So asking ourselves, what are we making this mean? So your person is getting the shits and they're really clear about this reaction that they're having to something you did or didn't do. And they're saying, you did this because blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to use a real-time example now, coming to my side of the examples. So my beloved is a creative. And when he's in creative genius mode, everything has to be out. All of the options that could be put inside of the creation need to be put out. On top of that, he's aware that he's going to work for 2 days, that he's got his market happening, he's got all this stuff, right? Now, we've had the conversation about the energy flow in the house, my witchy temple, that needs to be supremely perfect in order for me to have a level of peace, which is a story that I'm telling myself about what I need for peace and harmony. So we've turned this into a joke where I am now committed to recognizing when I'm squeezing his balls, trying to manage the outcome. Yeah. I need you to be like a woman. Clean up after yourself. So anyway. My brain walks in, sees the work bag sitting there, still there, a few days later. He reckons it was a day. It totally wasn't a day. Anyway, details. And there's also the market box sitting at the front door. And I've had this conversation with him like a gazillion times saying, babe, it's really important for me that especially the front room is really clean when I walk in, because it just gives me this sense of ease and clarity. And then I feel like, he's got my back. And so I go into this whole thing. Alison Armstrong talks about it as women seeing men as misbehaving, hairy women. Right? So my brain starts going, oh, for fuck's sake, we've talked about this so many times. He doesn't care. Clearly, my needs are not inclusive. And away my brain goes, making his action, non-action, mean all this stuff, right? And it amounts to me saying, okay, well, if we're going to coexist, I just need to accept this thing about him. And then I start getting anxiety because OCD is a little bit of a thing for me and I'm working on it. And so out of my mouth blurts, babe, why the fuck is that sitting there? I don't think I even asked a question. I did not ask a question. I just launched. And I thought I was doing an awesome job at it. But clearly Clearly I was in the primal brain, you know, amygdala overdrive situation. He doesn't care about my needs. He's totally disregarding. That was the story I had running. He is disregarding my needs. So straight away I feel disconnected from him and I don't give a shit about his freedom anymore. He tries to speak. I just like override him. I'm like, I don't care. And then I realized what I was doing. And we kind of just went off into our own sides. He put the things away. And then we came to a conclusion and a solution. And the part that he was saying is, you didn't ask me about my process. You didn't ask me. That whole thing could have been so different. He's like, if you had said to me, babe, can I please understand what your process is with this stuff that's sitting at the front door, and can we do something about that, please? The whole outcome would have been different. And if I had have led in with a question, my need for connection would have been met. But I was so attached to the story that I had made his actions mean. And by then my primal brain is on, right? I'm in my, like there's all science around it. So our stories, the things that we make people's actions and non-actions mean, it's our nervous system picking up on stuff that it remembers from times past. And it doesn't know the difference between timelines. It doesn't know the difference between this is a different situation to the situation we experienced years and years ago. Or the same thing that happened with one of my siblings who just did not care and just continued to do the thing, which is a story. Because, and this is what I want to really hone in on, when we give each other, when we walk in compassion towards each other, and we understand that every individual is completely and entirely unique, but we have similar needs, right? And every human being is in relationship with us because they care. Well, not every single human being. Some people are really, whatever. Let's not go there.
Yeah, but that's not the norm. I think, you know, it's a really good point.
Generally.
That is not the norm, but we act as if it is.
Yeah, exactly. And so generally, the people that we think are doing stuff to hurt us are misunderstood. And our stories send us straight into launch mode. And it's all about misunderstanding. So when we walk in compassionate care, and this is the shift that's happened in my relationship with Anthony, because we just had 6 months break, we studied nonviolent communication. You know, I've been doing heaps more study for my relationship coaching and all the stuff, the relationship astrology, all the pieces of the puzzle coming together so that we can up level our communication and come out of these patterns we were in. And understanding and coming into this relationship with the resolve that we are seeing each other as allies, no matter how much our brain is telling us that this person's actions and non-actions mean something that is intending to harm. Because we're so conditioned to be looking for the red flags, to be looking for the out, to be finding the door, we live in a fast food society. Everything is quick, quick, quick fix. If instead of standing in the fire and witnessing each other's transformation, it's easier to walk out the door and get on Tinder and find your next shoot me out with your love, baby. You know, and And this is the downside of the society that we live in, because when we walk in care and compassion and we see relationships as our greatest spiritual practice, then we can begin to rewire the conversation we're having with ourselves. And that's the thing that's changed with us. Because before, we were two people who didn't know how to put our needs in the center. We didn't know how to speak our needs to each other. In the past, he would have done the thing and not called me in. Because what he said to me is, I need you to ask me questions. I need for us to find solutions together. I need for you it wasn't about not being pissed off. He's like, I understand why you're frustrated. Be frustrated, but stay on topic with the fact that you're frustrated, and don't make it mean that I am doing something to intentionally piss you off. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm on your team, dude. So then we found solutions, and we met in the middle, and we realized that we had the same need to connect and be seen and to understand and to feel free. So asking questions is my breakthrough this week.
And we've talked about this before, often, and that question to ask the masculine is, I'm curious. Hey, I'm curious. I'm just curious. Yeah. You know?
And you help me understand.
Yeah, I'm just really curious. Is there a reason why the dishes have been done today?
And usually the answer is yes.
Yeah, this is the reason. You know?
In the past, though, I've asked the question so that I can burn. Full disclosure. I'm curious about blah, blah, blah. Ready with my warrior woman arrows. See, I fucking
You've got to ask the question with curiosity and be open to
that.
not use the word. Well, now that I've asked, use the right
I'm
word.
just asking a question so we can have a fight.
I'm opening the floodgates for a fight, for an argument, and I'm looking pseudo nice.
But yeah, when the question is asked with curiosity and true intention to be connected, both people get what they want.
Yes.
You go.
Sorry.
Talking stick.
Thanks. This is when we're talking about the primal brain, like when we look at, like, for example, in your beautiful example of like coming home, the market stuff, the work stuff at the front door, it's like, I'm not loved. So if I'm not loved, I don't belong. So I don't belong in this home, I don't belong in this relationship, because the actions are not lovable actions. So if I'm not loved, I don't belong, I'm not safe. I'm not fucking safe, I'm out to protect this safety. And that's the trifecta that's always running, no matter what. We fully fledged adults, 7% of that, now they keep saying 5% of that, is your adult cortex decision. The other 95% is your primal brain set when you were a child, a baby. Even a child, it finishes. The first 7 to 8 years, it's not even, by the time you're 10, you're running on whatever happened when you were 5 and 4.
Even so more reason to break up with being a mother. Retire after 10. Job done.
I tell you what, the first 7 years were fucking stellar. Fucking stellar. Like, you know, I need a fucking medal. I do have medals. I need a throne and a mansion for all of that.
Let's make a throne out of all the medals you deserve.
I could sit on hot metal. See, I turn everything sexual. Anyway, that's my sexual coming out. But this fact of, you know, the trifecta of the actions are not lovable. Those actions mean I'm not loved. If I act this way, I'm not going to be loved. Therefore, if I'm not loved, I don't belong. If I don't belong, I'm going to die, so I'm safe. And this all comes back to, like, you know, when we used to be thrown, if you you get thrown out of the village, you get thrown out of the tribe if there's not enough food. If what you contribute is not enough, you know, if you're sickly, you will die type thing. You know, this comes from absolute primal need so that we are safe if we belong. So for us to be safe where we belong, we need to be loved. And so it's this, you know, what comes first? It's that trifecta. And that is what's affecting everything. Going in, the dishes are not done for 3 days. Like, fuck. You know, I don't belong. Like, this is it. Like, I'm not loved. He doesn't respect me. He doesn't love me. He's not considering what I've asked for. Here we are again. All of this stuff. So therefore, you know, there's no belonging in this household. And so then we're out to protect that safety. And so I'm going to fucking protect it. And I'm going to, like, claim it. And so this constant. So that's that curiosity. Hey, I'm curious. Sorry. I'm really curious. You know, I'm curious what's happening here. Without the fight, which sometimes, you know, like I had that situation this weekend where I needed to wait till I wasn't in the fight, I wasn't in the charge to send a message. I need to sit, and when I'm going to work on I still belong in my life, I'm loved, I still, you know, and when that charge drops down, I can send that message with curiosity, using those words. Hey, I'm just really curious. You know?
Yeah, amazing, babe. And that kind of brings us around full circle to the awareness that we're not here to do the work for other people. You know, because when we're walking in radical self-responsibility and we're trusting ourselves to feel the uncomfortability of our reactions, to sit with that, you know, some of the trauma responses that are in our brain, and to meet our own needs. And this is the last piece, because right at the beginning, Chef Gula asked, they said that they've been contained, like, in a controlled environment most of their life. So how do we come into a place of freedom? Like, how do we start to connect to freedom? That was kind of what I read. It's hard to read it on the screen because it's so tiny at the bottom of my, covering my chin. But that's kind of what, I think that's what I heard you ask. And knowing what we need is key to our freedom. So having a refined relationship with our needs, our wants, our desires, and the feelings that generate. Most people are thinking their feelings because they're not in touch with what they need, right? And so if we come down to the very, very, very basic human needs, which you can Google NVC.
I'm just letting you know we've got a 1.5 minute warning.
Okay, NVC human needs. Everybody, do yourself a favor, get to know the list of human needs and start to connect to what you feel in relation to those needs being met or not met.
And if you want support in this, both JD and I fucking hold really strong, fierce containers, loving containers, accountable containers in our coaching one-on-one. And also,
and you're working mostly with men at the moment?
At the moment, most of my clients are men. I do women as well, and couples. I do men, women, and couples.
Oh, darling.
I know, I do them all. But I have my Understanding Men workshop coming up at the end of November. And I have my Occupy Your Cock. That's also about freedom. Men, when you are free, you get to choose when and how and with who to ejaculate. That is true freedom. Go to my link in my bio to check that out. JD, over to you.
I'm taking a sacred pause. I actually am just finishing the end of my Sovereign Woman Temple journey. And I'm taking a sacred pause until the summer solstice. I've got more than enough clients to keep me going, and I'm really looking forward to opening the temple. But I'll be here sharing and doing all the things and just loving the